Baseball can wait till morning. Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss and it ended up like this.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. We're back here on a Thursday night. Thursdays are, they're not a favorite night of mine. Well, they are now that NBA's back, but we're back here with Keith Reeve of 87 Sports Fan and producer extraordinaire.
There
Keith,
it is. There it is.
Oh,
Producer
Mark?
extraordinaire. Hello? Are you
Is
there?
there more to your title now?
What's that?
Is there more to your title now?
No.
Did I leave anything out?
No. It was just nice to hear, Bob. It was just really nice to hear.
If you want to call in, the number is 585-633-7487. If you want to talk about love, relationships, or a combination of both, or hate and non-relationships, that's great. Keith, we were talking about it over the break. Brian Hoyer taking this league by storm. What's your take on that?
I don't know if I'd call it by storm, but he's at least proving himself to be a competent quarterback. Nobody wanted to believe. They were all complaining when Manziel didn't win the starting job, and if they win, they're going to have 6 victories, and they've only had 6 or more wins 4 times in the 15 years since they came back to the NFL. So it's not nothing. The defense has really played well. And when you watch the Browns, remember that they're doing this now without their starting center. And when you have a center like Alex Mack and you lose him, that could have derailed the offense.
What do they do? What do they do with franchise records when you look at the Browns? Do they get all the Browns from '96 prior records? Because technically, this is a new franchise in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think
does Baltimore get those records, or how does that work?
I thought that the compromise that was made was that Cleveland would retain its original records, and Baltimore would be treated like an expansion franchise. I thought. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. I'll do some research in the next segment when I'm not co-hosting with you.
I would appreciate that because that's very important to me. Because, it confuses me with, okay, so what happened to the Bobcats records? Because the Hornets are now the Hornets again. Are those still Pelicans records? Or, the Pelicans could take over the Bobcats and say, hey, this is these two are our franchise records. It's just, it's confusing, and I won't stand for it. It bothers me.
I think that's different because when Charlotte left for New Orleans, nobody in Charlotte cared for a year. So they went a year without basketball, and they're like, "Hey, we used to have a basketball team, and now we ain't got one."
Hey, the Hornets did have a good. They did have a good following until they had that jackass owner.
I completely agree, but it's when the Browns moved to Baltimore, everybody was like, "Wait a minute, you need to put a team back in Cleveland. It's not right. It's just not right." When the Hornets left Charlotte,
why are you making these people from Charlotte and Cleveland sound like they're from the deep, dirty South?
I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to my impressions of people that I've never met, seen, or heard before. But when the Hornets left Charlotte, there was everybody that's a bummer for them. It's a totally different reaction.
Yeah, there wasn't a nationwide crisis.
Wait, they had Muggsy Bogues. We need to protect their legacy. No, it never entered that.
Well, Yeah, I mean, we get down to, they should have an inside or outside the lines investigative report on that kind of stuff. I mean, they do it on the Jerry Sandusky stuff. They should do it on records and where they're kept and all that stuff.
What if I told you Grandmama played in Charlotte? It was about 30 for 30.
Yeah, you could put that guy's, his voice, you could play that for anything. What if I told you that Bob Sullivan went to the bar and when he came home, he went to bed and the next morning he woke up in a urine-soaked mattress.
What if
you could put it with anything and it would sound like, oh, man, I'm going to watch that. Kind of like the whole thing with with the guy who did NFL films. There's certain people with certain voices that can sell you on anything. I mean, you could sell a car. You could sell me on watching a documentary on, a refrigerator, and you could sell it to me with the guy from 30 for 30.
Yeah, what would be the intro to a 30 for 30 about the Hornets leaving for New Orleans? What if I told you?
What if I told you
Alonzo Mourning wasn't always a Heat?
Yeah. What if I told you that the Hornets got stung in 2 places? I don't know. I don't know what the intro would be to that. They're always so clever, though. And it's like, who writes the what if I told you? Or does that guy just, wing it?
I saw.
Because if I wing it, it comes out terrible. Does he just wing it, or does he have this crap written down?
Well, it's ESPN. They probably have a staff of writers coming up with stuff like that.
Really clever writers out there.
There was a tweet one time regarding that, and it says, "What if I told you not everything in the '80s deserved a documentary?" It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, and you know what's sad is all those documentaries that they did on where Patrick Ewing is in them. It's like they should just do one where it's like, what if I told you this is a 4th documentary about Patrick Ewing getting screwed over? Because that's pretty much what every basketball one comes down to, is Patrick Ewing being on the losing end of something.
You didn't even get any respect on the Dream Team.
No, never. Disgrace.
I have no love lost for a former Hoya, being a Syracuse Orange fan.
Why, are you a St. John's fan?
Syracuse.
Oh.
Western New York, baby.
There you go. Boeheim, how many more years?
Too many.
I'm
not a Boeheim fan. I'm really not.
Okay, but you do realize that Syracuse is going to be like, they're going to take a dip once he leaves, right?
If the rumors are true and Hopkins takes over, it'll just be great, because Mike Hopkins was nothing but a 3-point specialist in the early '90s for the Orange. So those are the kind of guys that I like to see be coaches, not the point guards that had all the attention and everything. The little specialist guys that did nothing but listen to the coach, waiting for their turn to play. Hopkins has been an assistant for a long time. If he takes over for Boeheim, I don't think you'll see much of a hiccup. You will see a lot less of the Syracuse head coach picking his nose on national television.
Yeah, that thing's huge, though. His nose is huge. It's tough not to pick. I would, if I was sitting right next to him, I'd probably pick it myself.
It's only because every time there's a breeze in the Carrier Dome, it sounds like an empty Coke bottle.
Yeah, Boeheim, it seems like it's hard to call a guy that's won 900 games overrated. But, I mean, to not win with, Sherman Douglas, Derek Coleman. I mean, he's had a lot of good players go through there and not win.
Yeah, that's everybody's problem with Boeheim. He'll win 20, 25 games in the regular season and then somehow screw it up in the tournament,
He gets those 20, 25 wins because he picks up 10 or 11 in non-conference against
Binghamton.
South Purdue State or something.
No, they play Binghamton, Lemoyne, Canisius. They do the Western New York D3 tour, and it's pretty pathetic. Like you cannot take Syracuse basketball seriously until they start playing conference games, because the cupcakes that they schedule in late November and early December, it's just god awful. And if they do happen to, the only drama is when they win by less than 12. You're like, whoa, maybe there's some holes in the Syracuse team.
Who would you compare him to? Who would you say a college football comparison would be like? Maybe Bill Snyder?
College football?
Yeah.
Comparison to Jim Boeheim?
Yeah, like he schedules cupcakes.
Oh, I don't know. You don't really have that.
Bill Snyder, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about college football schedules to make.
Well, yeah, you've checked out since you're a Syracuse fan, right?
Well, that's part of the problem. There's no reason to watch college football in Western New York unless you are a diehard a fan of another team. I was a Syracuse football fan growing up. Marvin Graves, Donovan McNabb,
Dwight Freeney.
Well, yeah, there were some good players over the years that had decent NFL careers coming out of Syracuse, but they can never win anything in football. Marvin Harrison was from Syracuse before the gun.
I just had I'm calling on my cell phone. Have you ever had this is completely off topic, but have you ever had an incident where you're on the phone with somebody texts you, and you're kind of, you're listening to the person on the other line, but you answer the text out loud?
No, actually.
You've never had that happen, because I almost just did that. Looking at, Syracuse, the Big East, I'm a Creighton basketball fan.